Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Jake, this is Nadia, this is Babu, this is Sedona, that's Buddy Boy. Today we are talking about Wonka. We're both fans of, of course, the Gene Wilder movie. I watched that probably 100 million times when I was a kid.
And we just recently watched it a couple weeks ago too, so.
I was highly skeptical about this movie. First off, I didn't think Chalamet could pull off the Willy Wonka character. I didn't know how it would work as a musical. However, I have heard that the Paddington movies are good, and this is the same director, so I want to know what you thought.
As you know, I wasn't looking forward to this film in the beginning. I love the original film, but the thing is that sometimes prequels have a tendency to ruin the whole storyline. But to my surprise, I would give it this 9 out of 10.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was amazingly good. There were times when I wanted to cry, especially at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pure imagination, which is what, Willy Wonka, the whole storyline is about. And it's so well done. Timothy did really good job. He did such a good job, He really pulled it off. I could really believe him as a younger version of the original character. And there were a couple questions that I had at the end. Nonetheless, I thought it was so good, and I'm really glad I watched it. I'm surprised. The only disappointed thing about this movie is that I didn't watch it earlier.
High praise.
Yeah. What do you think?
I actually thought you were going to rate it very low.
I'm good at poker face. That's the bad thing about this film, which is the original too. I just wanted to eat junk food and I just wanted to eat the whole time. So what about you? What did you think?
I liked it a lot more than I expected. And I think that's because the tone, I thought, was kind of perfectly what it needed to be. Can tell from the beginning that this is like a kid's movie.
So was the original.
The original had a little more, I think, adult humor.
I mean, yes, but I thought it's a kid's movie. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm biased because I watched it growing up.
I think that there's a little more darkness in that original Gene Wilder one and in the Tim Burton one. But, what surprised me the most was that it reminded me more than anything of the book and of just the Roald Dahl tone. And I kind of just went with it because it had this kind of like a very innocent quality to it that just kind of, you feel kind of safe, but also it's just very light on its feet. And the musical numbers, while not extraordinary, are fun. If there's some style in it. I just kind of liked the world that it brought us to. I would give it like a 7 or 8 out of 10, I think.
Whoa, I rate it higher than you. You're the one looking forward to this too.
I wouldn't say I was looking forward to it. I was just really curious to see how it would land. And, it is just like, it's a kid's movie, but it knows exactly what it is. It knows the tone it's going for. And it kind of sets up these sort of whimsical, magical things. It was more magical than the modern Willy Wonka or whatever. But it was like, we're dealing with a different character. You can't be comparing it too much to the original movie. And it did enough of its own thing in order to, I think, warrant its existence. And was just like a really well done family, like musical, like almost reminded me of like Mary Poppins in a sense, just like that very classic, like kids movie with some musical numbers. Timothy Chalamet. I thought he brought that sense of whimsy and wonder, and you always see him in these brooding, serious, dramatic roles, and I thought that he was able to pull this off quite well. It's a simple story, but it had some good, almost like set pieces. There's like a heist. There's enjoying just the story of its own of an entrepreneur trying to build his business. And, it reminded me of Wes Anderson in a sense of the kind of like storybook style. Really excellent character actors. When it does hit those nostalgic moments, and I thought that it did it very tastefully, I was holding back tears because just like the psychic damage of those musical numbers in my brain from childhood and just it all coming back, So it was just, the theater was quite full with kids and families and stuff. And I thought that it worked great with the kids, So I kind of see this being like a new, family classic.
I do too, and it's different from the original film in the sense of this is more group work and a group effort rather. The original film, it was like Wonka and the kid, and then so it was Grandpa and the kid and Wonka. So it was cool, a little big difference. I thought the cinematography was amazing. I love the visuals, especially at the end. I love how imagination, reality comes to life, and that's kind of what the story is about. And I thought that was really well well done. Overall, I thought the direction and the directing in itself of the film was really well done. I love Oompa Loompas. I loved how they gave the Oompa Loompas from the original film a different perspective, kind of like you got to talk to a character rather than just see them like sing Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to kind of see like origins.
I didn't love the Oompa Loompa. I didn't love Hugh Grant doing it. It just seemed kind of weird. I don't know. They looked kind of weird with the CGI and everything. And
I didn't mind it, and I liked the ups and downs of climax. You know, just when you think a problem is solved, it doesn't, and you obviously expect there to be conflict. But I really like the way they handled it. Really like the storyline. Honestly, there's not much that I don't like about this film.
I do wish maybe there was a little more like darkness to the Willy Wonka character, because you get that sense of something's off, something kind of angry and frustrated in the adult Willy Wonka. But again, this is him.
Well, I
younger,
think the way that I saw it was the original film. Willy comes out totally innocent and really believing in himself and believing in the world and other people, and throughout the journeys and conflicts and interactions highlighted in this film, that's really when he becomes a little bit more cynical, a little bit more skeptical of people and their intentions, which is what we see in the original Wonka. This is why I thought this movie was done so well, because I could see the reasoning of the darkness in the original film because of the events that took place in this film.
I don't even need to see it as a prequel. I just kind of see it as its own thing. It just kind of felt like a story of a magical chocolate maker, you know.
I think you could see it either or.
I will say it's not a perfect movie. I think that there are some issues with the third act and the plotting, and certain elements could have maybe been stronger, but it hits what it needs to, and that stuff doesn't need to be crazy, you know, for this type of movie. It hit the simple, the most important thing for this type of movie, I personally think, is tone, consistency of tone. Perfect. The whole movie was just like a nice, sweet, light little chocolate.
The reason why I don't rate it 10 out of 10 is because I have a couple of questions. If we were going to, you're talking about it as a standalone film. I'm talking about it as a prequel. Can we get to spoilers so I can talk about some spoilers?
Yes. I will say one of the major elements when I was watching this, that why it worked so well for me, was because I was going, I would have loved this as a kid. You know, if this had came out when I was a kid, this would have been, oh my God, I would have been obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And that's something that I think you have to cue into, and if you're not able to kind of accept it for what it is, I think there are certain people going into this movie going, well, I know what Willy Wonka is, and I'm an adult and I want to see this kind of thing, and like you kind of have to meet it on its level in a sense. It's not doing any kind of intellectual, interesting stuff, you know. But obviously, Timothée Chalamet's no Gene Wilder, but that you can't even.
I don't think you could compare.
There's no point in even trying to compare that.
Yeah,
you know,
you can't.
You got to love it for what it is and accept it for what it is. Just like I sort of like the Tim Burton Willy Wonka a little bit. All right, so let's talk spoilers.
Yes.
Spoilers.
3, 2, 1. Spoilers. Okay, so the parts that I didn't understand or I wanted to get your thoughts upon. At the end of the film, when Oompa Loompa and Willy Wonka, they're exclusively in the castle. They're making this like really beautiful scene where they're making the chocolate factory. It's only them. Right? And then in the original film, how it's very exclusive, they have to get the golden ticket to be able to be inside. Do you think that's a result of what happened because of when they originally did the opening of the shop at a different place in mall, it was poisoned or whatever. So do you think it was to save the integrity of the chocolate itself, that he didn't trust people anymore?
I think there's obviously a huge gap between, let's say, what happens in here and what happens in the later stories. But so I think a lot happens later on. Obviously, like, I don't know, but it seems like this is just about the origin story of how.
Okay. So just with this film, then.
I don't think I need to answer
What do you think
those
the
questions.
difference is? The inclusivity of the chocolate factory opening within that shop itself that first came out before it was poisoned and all that stuff, to the exclusivity of the chocolate factory at the end. What do you think this reason of the exclusiveness of the chocolate
It's never said that it's exclusive.
I know that.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm asking. What do you think it is?
Well, I don't know. That's another story for another time.
I wonder, and you let us know, but I wonder if it's because of the events that went down of like the chocolate being poisoned, people growing beard and all that stuff, and that's why that was the filmmakers or story people telling us like this is why it was so exclusive.
Can I make a theory?
What?
Because I really love the friendship between Wonka and Noodle. I thought that was really nice. But in that friendship, he offers her a lifetime supply of chocolate. And that is, of course, what happens with the golden ticket later on is the offers for the lifetime supply of chocolate. I wonder if he kind of has Noodle as a protege and he's like, oh, I'm going to give you the chocolate factory one day. You know, you'll take over something or other. And then she tragically dies. And then he closes his factory and makes it exclusive. And then he's trying to find someone like Noodle to take over with the golden ticket. And he's playing all of his, childhood traumas out to try to get someone like Charlie.
I think she just, in this film, unlike the second film as much, people balloon up like that policeman.
That was my favorite gag in the whole movie. It was just like him getting slowly fatter.
So I think that's what happened to Noodle.
You think she just got really fat and then died?
No, I think she just was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't
need any more chocolate.
Like, it's kind of like, yeah, I didn't know it was possible, but I think I'm getting sick of your chocolate.
I really loved how they did the Pure Imagination song and how I thought at the end.
Oh my God. That's what I mean. I almost cried.
Same. Yeah. I mean,
so good.
Because of it, they connected it to her mom and all that. And of course he lost his mom. So it was very sweet. And I thought that the music in general was really well done. It had some of those light musical cues of the old, harkening back to the old music, but it also had its own musical numbers. I'm really disappointed because you left to get popcorn during, I think, my favorite musical sequence.
Yeah, I did miss some musical sequence.
You missed the best one because it was the most fun because it showed through musical, montage and everything how Wonka and all his friends started secretly selling chocolate in the streets, and they were using the sewer to like sneak around and evade the police. And it was very good and fun.
You told me about it. Yeah, I was disappointed, but this movie was making me hangry. Like, I don't know. I needed that popcorn because I was like, there was just a lot of food. I can't watch food films without eating food myself. So.
And of course, the chocolate isn't just regular chocolate. It's the most magical chocolate that makes you happy and all that. So you're like, damn, I need
if I needed to enjoy this film, I needed to eat.
I really like the individual character arcs. Like, they're very small characters, but I like what they do with them. The failed comedian who isn't very funny, and the older guy in the laundromat and everything. And I liked Olivia Colman. I didn't even realize that was Olivia Colman most of the movie, but she was really funny and wicked in a very Roald Dahl-esque way. So it's like they had an original story, but I felt like it was similar in style to even what it reminded me of, like James and the Giant Peach or the Twits or something.
Yeah.
Just the kind of hateable adult villains and everything, and really good. Do you have anything else to add?
I didn't like the giraffe parts.
Oh, I thought that was fine.
I didn't like it.
They asked permission.
But I didn't like how the giraffe just has to go back and, I don't know, the zoo and stuff.
I liked when they do take the giraffe out of the zoo, they give the guard one of those chocolates that replicates a 5-course meal that gets him drunk in 5 minutes.
Oh my God. I love the part where the security guy for the zoo, he ends up it's the one chocolate bar is literally a night of alcohol, a bad drunk episode.
Yeah. That's what I was,
And then he calls this lady who happens, as we find out later in the film, works as security at the church underground. And she ends up, when she eats the same type of chocolate, she ends up calling him too, and they realize suddenly in chemistry class, they had chemistry. Yeah. It's just really funny.
I love the whole chocolate cartel and all the monks, or all the priests or whatever, who are chocoholics, and it's they're
oh my God, it was very, chocolate. Anyway, I just thought it was so funny the way it was done. So there's nothing else to say. I just thought, what the biggest thing, the takeaway for this film that I really liked was I loved that it used imagination, and it was really, I felt, stayed true to the essence of Willy Wonka and his character. Well, thank you so much, and let us know what you thought. I think the doggies are ready to go outside, but yeah, let us know what you thought.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.